And welcome everybody to round 4 of the Zoom Racing League Division 2 Championship bout. We are in the Netherlands today, home of the champion, Max Verstappen, and a driver's home race here. Max, I'm going to say his full name, X076, Max X, I think 912. This is home race here in the Netherlands. We know how that goes. It's either boom or bust. Hopefully it's boom for him tonight. We're at the Netherlands, as I said, Zandvoort, 14 turns here, 2.6 miles, 2 DRS zones. One is amazing, the other one not so much. And we're going to see what they can do here tonight. It's a fun track. It's a technical track. And tonight, for the second time kind of session in a row, we saw it in the D3 race. This is just in qualifying, but it's a wet one. What can they do? What kind of, will they have different setup strategies? Are they going to go all in for the race? We saw, obviously last week in COTA, we didn't really get to see what was going on because we had a lobby restart. What is going to happen this time? Is everyone going to stay? Everyone's going to probably, hopefully, stay on the same setup. So will people go for the wet setup? Will they go for the dry setup? We're here to find out. So far, no one has left the track yet. So I ain't got nothing to say. And who is that? Is that the man, the myth, the legend himself? Is that... Nope, that's not Mr. Max. That's his teammate, Simon. Now, the two Mercedes, they're great drivers. Max obviously mentioned earlier, home race tonight. He's got to show out, or he's going home embarrassed. But they're great drivers. They've been having some good performances. But honestly, I think Carl is expecting way more from them. And I know I'm expecting way more from them. I want to see podiums from these two. And, I haven't really seen the performances that I've been expecting for them, as both Mercedes are out on track. Obviously, Simon's going to be the first one to set any sort of lap, barring an incident. So we're going to see what he can do, as he is still in Sector 2. I'm not really sure the protocol. Do you warm the intermediate tires up? I don't know. It doesn't look like it's going to be raining for long. It's raining quite lightly as well, so it doesn't seem like it'll be too big of an issue. But yeah, and we saw earlier, Max also said it's the Netherlands, it rains every once in a while, it comes and goes, so maybe we will see it in the race. Obviously, we're seeing it in qualifying right now. And Simon, in the wet weather, intermediate tires, comes to the line to start the first flying lap of the session with 15 minutes to go. It has officially begun. Obviously a little bit harder to get those tires, that traction just right in the wet. This turn especially, I feel like it wouldn't be too hard because you have quite a bit of speed, but you're used to carrying so much more. Coming up into this turn, if you go a little too wide, you go on the throttle just a slightly bit too early, it's so easy to lose it, and you'll just spin. So clear. A little bit of a late apex here, you try to hit what would be the first DRS zone. But it will not be the first DRS zone, because it is raining. I've said that 1,000 times. Hope you guys heard that gulp right there. I'm drinking water. And Simon hit the 100-meter board of Sector 3. He's coming on this long curve, this long bank turn. You'll notice here, it's a technical track. You've got to get everything right. And part of that is because of the bank turns. They really added a certain element, and he's going to put in a 1:20.5. I think we saw Mr. Baby in the wet weather intermediate tires do that. In the race, obviously different conditions. And so in Max as well, we're going to see him cross the line for his first flying lap as and he goes 1:20.3, so that's a great lap from him in his home race. Either Mattel, or really Mateo, I think is going to be the next one across the line. It's going to be Mateo, maybe Grid Jokes, no, Potato Skin, Ethan Patel, wherever did he, oh, they're everywhere. Neil Patel P4, Mateo P5, Noax 121. Potato Skin P1. I do Freddie. Times they're dropping like crazy right now. So we're gonna see what can Nathan Doan do in the Ferrari. He's winning some great spots. Hasn't really been able to capitalize on it as much as he should in terms of the race result. But he's had some phenomenal opportunities. Jack Fletcher come to line 120.5. In the second Red Bull seat, we got a Marino. A Wild Marino has been seen. So we're going to see what he can do as well in this race. Obviously 50 seconds already. I don't think he's going to be showing out too much in this lap. And there's a yellow flag. Someone spun somewhere. So we're going to see Alvarez as well come to the line. He's going to go only P13. Combined YouTuber. Noax still P15. Mateo P13. Blue Collar Jesus 120. You know, obviously the rain's going to keep lightening up. Grid Jokes, Alpha Tauri, Grid Jokes P2, Potato Skin P4. They're doing great so far. Obviously, it's early days in this session. We're effectively only 6 minutes in, 3 minutes in from the first lap beginning, and so we still got plenty of time left, plenty of time for these laps to come down, and they will as the rain lightens up. But let's stay on board with, oh, and he's slowing down, just slowing down for him, combined YouTuber in the Haas. We'll see what kind of damage he can make here in those intermediate tires. His teammate is the safety car spawner, and so he's hoping to get away from him as fast as he can, but I don't know necessarily if that'll happen. Obviously, Dan out of the session for an undisclosed reason. I'm not quite sure. And Combine only gets one spot, basically, between him and his teammate. Not really one he wanted. Let's see what Dougie Falcons can do. And we'll stay on board with him throughout this whole entire lap. We're going through this fast right-hander right here. Doesn't use, you know, the entire track, but I don't think he necessarily needs to right there. As I said earlier, it's hard to get on the power right here. Got to hit it just right, or that can happen. Obviously, it's even easier for that to happen when you're in the wet. Noax has left the session. Dougie Falcons with an absolute stinker of a lap by his standards, and by my standards as well. He's going to come to the line and put in a 120.4. So even with those two big mistakes, he's not too far off from the top runners right now, and I reckon he'd be provisional pole. Freddie Vizel improves on his 0.6 and goes 0.39. Grid Joke's a little bit too slow. Jack Fletcher improves by about a tenth to jump into the top 10. Marino is currently about 4/10 up. Obviously, he's in that second seat for Syra. Syra here is on the hot seat at Red Bull for, you know, a variety of different reasons. Obviously, the one right now, he's skipping out. You just can't have that. But the Italian superstar, second to none except maybe Kimi Antonelli, Marino goes 120.4 to put him P11 in that second Red Bull seat. So there's a Red Bull sandwich from P1 to P12. And Max, with a great lap, goes 19.6. And Dougie gonna correct his mistake and go 19.6 as well. Ooh, that's a lot of speed carrying through there. What can Mateo do this lap? He's 2 seconds up. We're hopping off of that. I believe that's a Wild Simon out there as well. He's out of gas, so he's in the mono lap. I do. Invalidated. Jack Fletcher in the pits. Blue Collar Jesus starting his lap. So we'll stay on board with Blue Collar Jesus throughout this whole lap. Obviously, Dan and someone had a bit of an incident. Dan was worse off because of it. And Noax has returned, the safety car spawner. I swear he's been out the first couple races, but he's here, at least the races I've seen. And Sid is retired from the session as well. And based on where he is on the track, we're going to assume he just spun out. No one near enough to go on board with him. We won't be able to see the remains of his car, but we will see what remained of him and Dan in the rest of the session, as they will no longer be here. P19 and P20. Blue Collar Jesus is flying right now, but he's going to need to make up more than that if he wants to be in that top 3 position. And Garrett coming to the line. Blue Collar Jesus. Call him Daddy. P4, 19.7. And for those in the know, he actually is a recent father. I guess it's not too recent, but you know, I think maybe the baby girl's in the crowd right now. He's just trying to make her proud in that P5 and that Williams. That's what it's about. That's what Blue Collar Jesus is all about. He's a family guy with a family position. Eric McNerney on track, currently 5/10 up on his time, and if that's huge, if true, he seems like he's a little squirrely. We saw that from Cushy 4-3 in the D3 race. He's on the limit, obviously no longer 4/10. He's really pushing it, and that's what you like to see. Obviously, it's going to come at a little bit of a cost, but that's what happens. And obviously this guy is, I'm going to do my best Revis impression. The artist formerly known as Bob Blah Blah. Has quite a bit of music on the Spotify. So if you think he's a good racer, might as well check out his music. You know, he's currently in that P6 position in that beautiful AlphaTauri. It does look good. We're going to see what he can do on crossing the line. He's going to need to make up time here quite a bit. If he can get the exit right, you know, there is quite a bit of time to be made up, but he certainly didn't. It's easy to slide there, and we're lucky we're not picking him up in scraps or pieces. You know, loses about 3/10, maybe 4/10 from what could have been. So we'll go on board with Mr. Jack Fletcher as he starts his lap, or maybe we'll go on board with Grid Jokes as he's going to come to the line and try to get into that top 3 position. Or no, he's starting his lap as well. My apologies. Come on, YouTube, we're crossing the line to go 1:20.6. Still, I mean, he's close to the rest of the guys, but Noax, he's still right next to his teammate Noax, which is not what he wants to do. And Marino, the Red Bull, I think he hit the wall at the pit entry. Can we go on board with Colin? Maybe he won't be despawned? Sometimes the pit crew works really fast. Yeah, so he spun out kind of where we saw Eric McNerney. I believe it was Eric, yeah. Where we saw Eric kind of spin right there as well. So obviously drivers are struggling right there because that's a key part. You gotta carry as much speed as possible to the line. And if you don't, you're wasting valuable time, especially in the race. And these guys are putting their life on the line, putting everything on the line, and it just didn't work out for them there. Noax coming to the line to put a blistering 21.7. Now earlier in the week I told Noax I did a 109 point, or maybe I told Moreno, I don't remember. I was doing a 109.8, I believe. I want them to know that that is not a lie. I really did that. Freddie Rosel's flying right now. I did a 109.8, and obviously they're not getting to show themselves out in the dry quali. So if they're listening out there, I really did that shit. Don't doubt me. Now Nathan Doan, oh my god. I was just about to compliment him. He's one of the legends of ZRL. I actually fought him to get my first race victory, and if it were not for Cushy 43 holding Nathan Doan up, he would have got me. Nathan was a fast driver. At one point he was the Alpine F1 team. It became Nathan Doan F1 team, and that's how he got in this Ferrari seat. He deserves this Ferrari seat. But right there, he just showed he's a little bit inconsistent. He gets in phenomenal places. We saw that in Singapore. We obviously know how that turned out. In Kodo, he was in a good spot at one point. We obviously saw how that turned out. Like, he's a bit similar to Ryan Newton in that sense, where I think their pace is not always, or their ending positions are not always indicative of their pace. They're quite fast, and they don't always get to reel themselves in, so to speak. In X-Max, going ballistic so far, 19.2. I'm going to start another lap. We don't have too much time left in the session, 2.5 minutes. So depending, really, this will probably be Max's final lap. So he needs to show out and show out now. We're going to hop on board with him, because he's commanding the Orange Army right now. He's barely up on his time. He needs more. No X left the session again. Hopefully this is not indicative of a safety car or a session restart. My apologies. Max coming through sector 2. You got to get that late apex and early on the throttle so you can go fast down this straight. There's yellow flags. Get out the way. He's only a 10th up. He's going to need quite a bit more if he wants to fight for that provisional pole position. The crowd, the Orange Army, they're going wild as he crosses through Sector 3. He hits the 100-meter board, the 50-meter board. He's got to stay on traction here but not lose too much. Can't let the rear end go back. It's key. He sticks the racing line. He loses a little bit. He catches it. He's coming to the line. Can he get in that position? No! He loses too much time in that slide and he stays P3. And Grid Jokes jumps in for that P2 spot. Grid Jokes in the Alpha Tauri P2. Potato Skin P4. Mateo coming to the line. Not going to be anything new. With a 125, that is just not enough. Colin Edwards, Alfa Romeo, starting his lap. Or ending his lap, I should say. My apologies. So we're going to see where he ends up. It's not looking like it's going to be good. We're moving on from him. Next man up. I also don't know if this is going to be a great lap. Just based on it, it's not looking like it'll be much. Oh, but it kind of is a 19.5. Gets him into that. And Blue Collar Jesus, who does it for the family. Shout out that movie series. Still, Freddie Rosell is in a league of his own today. We saw Mr. Baby put in 2 tenths. In comparison to the D3 race in qualifying, and Fred is putting on a similar kind of gap to people who are much faster. And Simon and Max up into P3, P5. You know, I'm wanting to see more out of them. I think these are great positions, but I really need to see Max in that P2 position. I need to see Simon fighting for wins here. And Dougie Falcon's Twitch TV, our local superstar. You know, a bit of drama with him and Luca today. They're fighting over irrelevant clubs, in my opinion. Everyone knows that, what are they called? Don't even know. Dallas United? Who cares? The MLS is supreme. What can Dougie Falcons do as he comes through? Sector 3, his teammate. Luckily he ghosted for him. Oh my god, these people are everywhere. He slipped up here. No. That's unbelievable. Dougie Falcons only goes 8th fastest. If they DQ Blue Collar Jesus for that, that is unbelievable. Everyone's out of this race. Alvarez, a 10th and a half up. He had a great start earlier. Oh my god. Maybe got a little toe out of that. He's going to go to P12. Jack Fletcher, what can you do, my friend? And in the second ever draft, I drafted Jack Fletcher with my second pick in Division 1. So he's a great guy. Only P15 here. And Colin Edwards sneaks up into P2. I'm sorry I missed it, Colin. And so this is your starting order. It shouldn't be. Blue Collar Jesus should be up there. That is total bullshit. I'm sorry. The FIA, the FCC, that is total horseshit. Like, you know, take us off the airways. I don't care. His daughter's in the crowd, and you're gonna pull some stuff like that. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. But Freddie Rizal, pole position. Colin Edwards, I mean, they're flying right now. These two, Colin and Fred. Simon in the Mercedes P3. Grid Jokes, Alpha Tauri. The Alpha Tauri had a great showing tonight. P3, P6. X-Max P5. Dougie Falcons in an unusual P7. Mateo, the Wonder Kid, P8. Adu, P9. Eric McNerney, the artist formerly known as blah blah blah, P10 combined. Alvarez, P12. Ethan Patel with this, you know, another unusual stinker, P13. Nathan Doan with an even more unusual stinker in qualifying, P14. Jack Fletcher, P15. Marino, come on now. Noax, P17. Sid, Dant, and Garrett Elder. Total bullshit. Total bad. But we will see you at the start of the race here in about 10 seconds, I believe. Track's obviously dried up quite a bit, just based off what our camera guy can see some right now. We're seeing some people on top of the paddock. Those paddock passes, that paddock club is expensive. And so, I mean, we're looking at a couple of rich fellows up there. You know, maybe, I don't even know what kind of money you need to get up there, but quite a bit. Not as much money as you need to be a celebrity in the garages. I know a lot of people do that as well. Whew. Let's see what can happen here as we start the Dutch Grand Prix. 5 lights and away they go. Not a great start from the Red Bull of Freddie Rizal. Colin Edwards is going to get maybe quite a bit of a run here. Oh, Fred's lagging about. Not too great from him. But Colin on the inside, is he going to get that P1 position? He's going to be slightly ahead. His nose is ahead there. He's going to have to go on the top here in this bank turn. Freddie Rizal going to go on the bottom. He flies in front. Colin around the outside. Whoa, what in the world? And Freddie Rizal takes the lead from Colin Edwards back, or I guess keeps the lead. Grid Jokes P4. Dougie up into P5 already. I have no idea what just happened with Sid. And so we're seeing Dougie. He's going side by side with everyone. Obviously, maybe not a great wet runner because he's flying in the dry right now. Up into P4, fighting with Grid Jokes. This is a phenomenal battle. They're going by side throughout this whole lap so far. Still side by side. Depending on how this exit goes, maybe Grid Jokes goes for a lunge on him. He might do it. And he doesn't. He falls in line. But the guys behind him, they're fighting as well. It's just battle after battle after battle. We see Mateo getting in with Alvarez. Alvarez is up 4 positions already. They're doing phenomenal. Potato Skin up down 4 positions. We're seeing Blue Collar Jesus make up 6 positions. Ethan Patel obviously down as well. Eric McNerney, ours formerly known as blah blah blah. There's a lot of guys up and down right now. But it's finally evening out. Colin Edwards still within 3/10 of Freddie Rizal. What can he do? Can he reel him in? Can he overtake him? We're seeing Grid Jokes get overtaken by X-Max, it's his home GP. He's got to show out right now. He's going to Dougie Falcons. Can he catch up to him? Can Gridjokes go along the outside? No. Adu's going to look on the inside. Can he get on the inside? Gridjokes, maybe. Gridjokes stays in the lead of Adu for right now, but Adu's looking at him like he's food. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is phenomenal racing. And it's finally slowing down. Maybe not, because Mateo, the Wonder Boy, on Alvarez. He's going to go for a move right here. No, he looks at it, puts pressure on Alvarez in the McLaren. Can he go for here? He looks at it. There's contact between them. That is a horrible move. And there's carnage going on right now. Mateo, what have you caused? The Alpha Tauri of Potatoeskin and Alvarez all have damage, but Potatoeskin has no wing whatsoever. Mateo has to have the damage as well. This is ridiculous. I'm utterly shocked there's not a safety car. Gridjokes overtaking Adu right now. This is phenomenal racing from everyone so far. Gridjokes, he's down 2 positions, but these are 2 positions he's fought hard to lose, essentially. And Dougie Falcons coming in within 5/10 of Simon in the Mercedes. X-Max right behind him within 4/10 of him. This is beautiful. Beautiful. Potatoeskin obviously pitting. Marino gets that overtake through the pits. Dougie Falcons, what can you do? Are you going to overtake here on the bank turn? No, you're not. You don't have this. You don't have the gap right there. But he's closing in quickly on Simon. What can he do? We saw a lot of dangerous things happen here. Simon, is he going to break a little bit? No, he's not. Dougie Falcons is riding him. Dougie Falcons clearly has the pace on him. And we saw some carnage here earlier with Mateo. What's going to happen? Dougie Falcons is a little bit better driver IQ than that. Race IQ, racecraft. Hit the late impact. Boom, going out. But Simon has a great exit. These guys are all so close together. Noax especially within 6/10. And there's a yellow flag. Is that Jack Fletcher? It might be. I think it is. But the story so far, obviously Dougie Falcons climbing through the ranks. But Freddie and Colin are pulling away at a rate we have not seen before. 2.5 seconds, 4 laps in, and they're fighting. So this is, Dougie Falcons is going to try to enter this fray too. Simon overtaken by 2 people right there, Dougie Falcons and Max. And so he's going to try to fight to get back, or is he going to have to fight with Gridjokes as well? Obviously, Gridjokes is fighting with everyone early in this race. So we're going to see what they can do. Colin Edwards, Freddie Rizal, as they're fighting together, they're climbing away, similar to Rosberg and Hamilton, Abu Dhabi 2014, I believe. Okay, maybe I'm being a little hyperbolic, but Dougie Falcons is going to enter the fray, I'd say in about 5 laps time, if he can keep up the pace. But right now he's losing the pace, and so that just goes to show how fast these 2 leaders at the front are. Combined YouTuber Nathan Doan, they're fighting. Nathan Doan gets the overtake here. Obviously saw Nathan Doan crash out here in qualifying, but now he stays the course. What can Blue Collar Jesus do? Because obviously he should be fighting realistically with Colin and Freddie up top, and he's just not right now. I would personally protest. I'm asking for a lobby restart. Freddie Rizal, fastest lap, no question. Mateo going for a move on Adu. We saw how his last move went. Don't make the same mistake twice. No contact yet. Adu going to go on the inside, though. Oh, Mateo has a little bit of a moment. That allows Adu to slip back through. 1 position lost, 1 position gain. That's a net 0. Adu keeps the position overall. Mateo takes more speed throughout that bank turn right there, but isn't able to convert it into an overtake. Obviously, right here, it's so narrow. It's so difficult to overtake, and it's so dangerous. Mateo, as well as anyone, knows that as well. And so we're seeing, maybe he's learning, but he has no battery at all. He's absolutely burned. 5 laps throughout this race, and that's just not what you want to see. Obviously, the Wonder Kid has a little bit of raw pace, but someone's got to teach him, some of the more basic stuff, the racecraft stuff, the ERS usage, the tire strategy, stuff like that, because you can't be 5 laps in the race and you're already a sitting duck in terms of ERS. Because, Freddie Rizal, race leader, 100 ERS. Colin fighting for P1, 70 ERS. Dougie obviously had to fight through it. 40, 30, 38, 40, and then you get to Mateo, who's 20. Like less than 20. You really gotta hone that in, because that's just gonna be harder throughout the rest of the race. You're fighting an upward battle, so to speak. And the two Williams, Dan, I think, is honestly an underrated driver here in Division 2. I underrated him quite heavily coming into the... What the hell just happened? Fellas, I think we've just seen evidence of paranormal activity. Oh my god, Eric McNerney had to have just killed Dan. And speaking of the ghost, Dan was just taken from behind. I guess Eric was unaware of how much speed he was carrying, or maybe Dan just lost it, but that's such a weird place to lose it. And like, I swear he was in like 3rd gear. And so, that is a safety car. And that's great news for Dougie Falcons and Mateo, who get to charge their ERS a little bit. Fred is confident in his pace. He has burned no ERS. Dougie Falcons is blessed here. I do think Colin and Fred are faster than him, but he will have, if he can stick with him in the first lap, the opportunity to stick with him through DRS. And so it's a bit of a blessing for a lot of these guys. We're going to see what they can do. As it's just a virtual safety car. Oh no, it's not. The safety car's out there. Now, for those of you at home who are watching, none of you are typing in chat, and that's despicable. First of all, you should be typing in chat. Second of all, are my eyes deceiving me, or are those clouds getting a little bit darker? Who knows? Who knows? So, the safety car spawner clearly has the worst internet in the history of the world. I think he's been here less time, or yeah, he's been away less time than he's been here. It's completely unfortunate for him. Similar to Mr. Baby, I guess. There's not, they don't have the internet. And I don't know what it is, if they need to get a router, a modem. They're using their phone hotspot. But I don't know. We're seeing him have awful connection problems. And no one pits onto the hards, I don't think. Or no one pits onto the mediums, they're all on the hards. And if I'm these guys right here, I don't know how long the hards will last. I think Fred was talking to me, he said he had mediums puncture at 27. So I'd assume hards can last 30. Obviously you don't want to push them that far, but I guess it would be something to think about if you're in a Dan situation. So, but if Dan started on the hards, then obviously you can't. Another thing to think about, obviously this safety car helps them tremendously, but fuel is a significant factor at this track. There is a good possibility we see people run out of fuel. Obviously, with this safety car, less of a chance, but it wasn't that long, and people tend to underfuel. If they underfuel at all, they're screwed. So let's see. Ready result. Can you take anyone by surprise? Max X 076X Max X 1912 P4. As he drives by, the fans are going crazy. Fred goes. Dougie Falcons has a decent one. I think a slightly better restart than Colin. Fred obviously had a great restart because he's the leader. But Max with a phenomenal restart. Tries to go on the outside of Dougie, but he slides. Dougie's car saved him right there from something catastrophic. He's quite lucky to be alive right there. Maybe the nerves are getting to him. You know, with all his fans in the crowd. He stays alive, stays in the fight for P4, for P3, really. Dougie Falcons P3, Colin Edwards still P2. The rest of the grid looking like grid jokes. They're fighting down there in P17. Ethan Patel and Potato Skin are just crashed. That is unbelievable. There's chaos in the back, obviously, and I can guarantee you that wasn't Ethan's fault. Unbiased commentary. And the safety car spawner has left once again. Grid jokes P6. He's fighting Adu as well. They're gonna go. He's gonna try to make a move on him. No, I think he could have. I really think if he stuck his nose in there, he could have made it work. But they're gonna have a great run on him going into turn 1. If you can get this correct, get that slipstream, fit in the air pocket. Grid jokes. It looks like he has the wing. Mateo, Adu's running some sort of low wing because Mateo's flying by him. Grid jokes had, or Adu had DRS. Mateo bumping again. If it ain't rubbing, it ain't racing. Mateo overtakes Adu, but for how long? I think the Mateo, when it rains, it pours. Blue Collar Jesus fighting with Eric McNerney. Obviously, Eric took his teammate out earlier. He doesn't take the Williams out again in the same spot. But you know, that's where the overtake took place. It almost seemed like it was fate. That turn right there is so dangerous. It's so easy to struggle. As we see back pains, the true GOAT, Cole, he's an actual legend. So we're gonna see what's going on here. And they're going crazy right now. Obviously, Mateo, the Wonder Boy, we're seeing him get his elbows out quite a bit, but you know, he's also burning an insane amount of battery. And DRS is enabled. So for this next lap, Mateo will have the chance to overtake Grid Jokes if he stays, you know, in this, no mistakes. And Adu and Alvarez, Adu just keeps getting eaten alive on the straights, but he has the pace in the corner, so obviously that higher wing setup. But Alvarez, you know, we saw him and Coda, him and Freddie collided. And is that Nathan Doan behind him? Nathan Doan coming into the fray. Everyone is here in this race. Everyone. Dan gets past Eric McNerney once again. This is where they collided last time. They don't collide again. And so they are chilling for the moment being. Grid Jokes on the rear of Simon. And Max, I mean, those top 4 are in a little DRS train up until P5 and Simon. And so will Grid Jokes make a leap? No. Simon, I think he's burning a little bit of ERS to stay ahead. So, Grid Jokes. Let's see, can Nathan Doan overtake Adu here? Adu's going to have the DRS to protect himself this time. And Alvarez must have burned unbelievable battery. But Adu is just making no progress on the guys in front of him on this front straightaway. And I say that, he just goes around on the corner. Or that was Grid Jokes, Alvarez fighting for him. Grid Jokes trying to go on the outside, just didn't carry enough speed for that to really do anything for him. It just saved him out of a little contact potentially. I mean, and we're looking at maybe one of the closer races we've seen all season. This is, you know, just look, up into P5, obviously, there's a 2.5 second gap from 4 to 5, but then from there, half a second, 3/10, half a second, 3/10, half a second, 3/10, all the way down to P16, really, which is only a 1.5 seconds there, and then obviously the Patel, when it rains, it pours. So these guys are absolutely flying right now. Mateo still in P6. You know, half a second away from Simon. He's going to have DRS. Simon has no DRS. Grid Jokes, that's a huge penalty, actually, as Alvarez overtakes him as well. So Grid Jokes just went off. Blue Collar Jesus retired from the session. Is that going to be a safety car? And it is. For the second time in this session, there is a safety car. Obviously, they don't tell me these things. Is it a real safety car? Is it a virtual safety car? I'm in the dark. I really am. But we're seeing people pit. Let's see what happens. And the safety car spawner. So Grid Joke, so he's in a great position, pits onto the mediums. So those mediums going to go to the end. They can last 27 laps, as I said earlier. They will pop it around 27. But if it's time, it's time. I don't necessarily think it's time. Freddie Rozel's certainly going to stay out. There's just another safety car. That just blows. They do dive into the pits. Dougie Falcon's going to stay out. He made this decision. What? 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 Safety car in this lap? I don't think anyone was behind the safety car. Noax certainly wasn't. I mean, certainly was. What is going on? Noax with the safety car restart as it dives into the pit lane. What the hell just happened? Freddie Rozel down into P13. So Dougie Falcons is your current race leader. X-Max not too far off behind him, but did lose a little bit of ground going in there. What a bizarre incident. What? That was weird. Beyond weird. Mateo into P4. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Mateo's going for a run on Simon here. Mateo's been an overtaking machine, you know, similar to Beamer in the D3 race. He gets into the podium positions. Mateo obviously had a phenomenal finish last week in COTA, hoping to replicate that success here, and so far, so good. Obviously, a little sketchy moment earlier, but he's redeemed himself and shown his true pace here in the second stages of the first half of the race. Alvarez as well. Alvarez is someone who's fighting with Freddie Rozel, who is arguably the fastest driver on the grid right now. And he's currently sitting in P6, but we know he's certainly capable of more. But obviously, I mean, we're looking at all these guys. Dougie, Max, Mateo, Simon, Adu, Alvarez, Nathan, combined. Garrett when he's here. And then Colin and Fred, obviously, Grid Jokes as well. Like D2 is just unbelievably quick. And X-Max hoping to, you know, maybe lead a lap of his home GP. You know, it could possibly happen. If I'm him, I'm staying one. I'm boxing opposite of Dougie. To be honest, he goes in, I'm staying out. I want that whole thing. I want that lap. Me leading in my home GP. Freddie Rozel, fastest lap. Yeah, this is weird. Freddie Rozel trying to overtake Jack Fletcher at the moment, I believe. And he is driving like a madman. Of course, that could be a little bit of lag. And so now Jack Fletcher sits between Freddie and Colin. Colin quite, you know, a couple seconds away from Fred. And It takes about 15 seconds for pit to happen. So we're going to see when these guys go in. I'm not too sure. Maybe lap 20 is my guess. So obviously in the D3 race, we didn't see him come in at a reasonable time because of the rain. DRS finally enabled. After that bizarre safety car restart. I don't even know. I've never seen anything like that. But again, you know, you guys know the FIA, they bring new stewards to every race. So no race is ever the same. They're bringing new guys in every time. Jack Fletcher has a bit of a moment. He's stuck down in turn 1. And so, you know, bringing new guys in every time, maybe sometimes they don't all read the rule book. They throw out a safety car when they don't need to. They forget to tell the driver to come in. It's a whole ordeal. Obviously, it screws some of the drivers up, but what can you do? We're seeing some complainers in the chat, I believe, telling us to restart the race. Never give in, folks. That's one lesson I want all of you to remember. Never give in. When your back's against the wall, when life screws you, never give in. When life gives you lemons, you buy sugar, you buy a bit of water, you make some goddamn lemonade. And X-Max now within 3/10 of Dougie Falcons for the race lead. With, you know, we've just reached the halfway point of the race. And X-Max is so close to tasting that P1 position, even if it's only for a moment. I know he wants it. This is truly a podium or bust race for him, in my mind, but in his mind it could be win or bust. I don't know, we're going to see how it turns out, of course. Dan is flying as well right now on those medium tires. 3/10 off of combined. Freddie Rizal catching up to his teammate Marino. If I knew a little bit of Italian or Hungarian, as we suspect he is, I would tell him to get out of the way for his teammate. But I also don't like it when they get out of the way for their teammate. I want to see something happen. You know, Marino is certainly capable. He doesn't always show it. He's certainly capable. He's a quick driver. When you think of Marino, you think of him almost winning Brazil, but running out of fuel. But he was dominating the whole time. And X-Max finally gets his dream. He's leading his home GP. But obviously, Dougie Falcons is right behind him. They're going to battle throughout the rest of this lap, I hope. Dougie tries to go on the outside. Doesn't have the speed. He has to tuck in behind X-Max. And so X-Max leading his home GP. He's now under pressure from the formidable foe, Dougie Falcons, Twitch TV. As we come here, such a dangerous corner on throttle. And with nerves especially, I'd be terrified to take it. Dougie Falcons will be breathing down my neck. But Dougie has the DRS. He's not going to get close enough to make a move here. But he might be able to make one on the run to turn 1. Dan and Combined are fighting as well. But more importantly, X-Max will have led this lap. But is he going to, get taken over again? Dougie has no ERS. Neither does Max. Freddie Rizal is sitting at 30. He's overtaking someone right now. Eric McNerney. Is he going to go for a move on Combined as well? A double overtake for Freddie Rizal. What a phenomenal move. Phenomenal car positioning as well. He's now on the gearbox of Dan. And obviously, Fred is your, I believe, effective race leader. And Simon and Adu are fighting right here. This is a dangerous spot. Oh my God. I did say it, folks. His tires are now cooked for that little burnout. And we got the BNG in the chat. What's up, Brianna Gordo? So Simon spun out right there. I said it was going to happen. Freddy Rizal, P8. Dan, P7. Fred obviously got the double overtake done on this DRS straight last time. Now he's just really looking for the single overtake. He needs to overtake as many people as fast as possible. It's going to be close. I mean, he's going to be able to make the tires go to the end. He's going to overtake Dan before you even get to the line, really. And this should be a relatively easy move. Does Dan try to go on the outside? He tries to. He just doesn't have the traction that Freddy has. Yeah, some people do say I'm a prophet. And so more people are pitting. Combined, Eric, Simon obviously needed to. And so Fred is fought his way back. Colin, who was fighting with Fred earlier, just is behind Marino and Dan now. And so he's going to have to fight a little bit more. Fred looking for Nathan Doan next. And Dougie. I'm thinking they're going to come into pit within the next couple of laps, these hard runners. And then Fred is really going to need to pull a gap and hold on to it. He's going to have dead tires at the end. These guys are going to have fresher mediums. And I think it'll be a close one. And Fred, he's just flying right now. He's like every corner he's gaining a 10th, gaining a 10th, gaining a 10th. Mateo and X-Max, or just X-Max pits. Freddy Rizal, he looks like he's backing off right there. It seemed like obviously I didn't see the whole thing. I was checking X-Max, but he's backing off right there. Doesn't want to do anything. Fred has burned his battery cutting through the field. And even so, he's faster than the cars in front of him. This is why I think you should have gone for the move earlier, because this is such a dangerous place, Fred. You're playing with fire, my friend. But putting as much pressure on Nathan Doan, who we know can crack. He's quick, but not indestructible. Make him try to go a little bit deep right there. Just not in the position you want to be in. Jack Fletcher retired from the session. Does Dougie get saved here? Oh my God. Dougie gets saved. He had bad luck last week in COTA. One could argue it was his fault. I would argue it's his fault. But unbelievable luck here in the Netherlands. Well, they may have been too close. It's gonna be a close one coming out of pit exit. Yeah, Fred, gas it. Ooh. And Fred's gonna get the position. And Dan is also in a phenomenal position as well. Marino's staying out, a little bit of Red Bull tactics. Someone put torches on no wax. That's a good one. So Fred, it was away from you for so many laps. It has returned. Your race leader, Freddy Rizal, in the Red Bull, followed by the Danimal in P2, Marino P3. Dougie Falcons is in a phenomenal spot as well on fresh mediums. Mateo, Adu, everyone behind him really on fresh. Nathan Doan, common Nathan Doan L on the softs. You know, I'm not too sure. I don't think they'll last that long. But we did see, when you have them, you are flying. Here's the time. If you're a boy out there. Oh my God. Jesus. What the hell? Oh my God. We're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, some of the worst lag in the history of the game. And so I'm going to tell you again, if you're a boy out there, dude, so all of those are going to get waived because that's total horseshit. Every single one of those is going to get waived because that's just ridiculous. But, as I was saying, if you're a boy out there, go ahead, crack a cold one open. If you're a girl out there, go ahead, crack a cold one open. We're in for about 10 laps left. Adu needs to be banned. Get this guy out of here. This internet is unbelievable. But the dude was having a great race. I didn't think he was necessarily that laggy earlier, but maybe I was tripping. I didn't see it. So let's see. These guys are coming to the line. This is the third safety car of the race. Really, can we say third? Should we say 2.5? Because that other one was not real safety car. Yeah, such a weird safety car. The dude was back. I think maybe he forgot to plug in his modem before the race started. Maybe he unplugged it recently, and he's recently plugged it back in. There's going to be another lap for Ethan Mattel and Potato Skin. And the dude's going to dive into the pits. And Ethan Patel, brother, you gotta get a move on. You're not finishing a race behind Noax. I refuse to allow it. If you lose to Noax here and now, you're stripped of your team principal role. I'll step in. So we saw earlier Dougie had a phenomenal restart. He's most likely going to get the jump on Marino, who's on 20 lap old hards compared to 2 or 3 lap old mediums that Dougie has. But if Marino can just buy him valuable time, Dan is probably going to have to pit again. This is going to come down to just a battle between Fred and Doug. And I think Fred has the pace advantage, but Dougie obviously has a massive tire advantage. So it'll be interesting to see how it turns out. If Marino, are they going to play the team game? Is Marino going to be just like sitting dead and forcing Dougie to wait a second? I think that would be a bad mistake. I see. That is a 2 IQ maneuver, Cody. That is ridiculous. That's so annoying. That's so annoying. Well, as I said with Ethan, when it rains, it pours. That's so stupid. But rain is incoming. I really hope it isn't, so Max can remove that 5-second penalty, because that's just stupid. I mean, yeah, and Dougie just gets a way better restart on him, but Marino slowed him down. That was the play. And so now Marino's going to be a danger on track. He's going to hold up 3 people right here. What the hell? Dirty. Oh my God, what has Marino just done? Or what has Dougie just done? Jeez. That is Red Bull tactics? Question mark. Just jokes, of course. I'm being held against my will. That was a horrible restart. Obviously, he has 18 lap old, 20 lap old, and Colin Edwards is out of the race too. He has 20 lap old hards, or whatever it was, mediums. I don't know, and hards. So he's not going to have any sort of traction. But like, you got to be aware of every. Like, that was just a horrible restart from everyone. But Marino's planted right in the middle, just dangerous. Everyone goes for it anyway. Like, it's the last lap. There's 12 laps left, guys. Come on. This is amateur driving. Like, this cannot happen. It's just unacceptable. And Ethan Patel, he has a mistake as well. Does Dougie Falcons even have a wing? He does, miraculously. And X-Max gonna overtake Dan. Is that Cody Lawrence? Is that Cody Lawrence? The rain? is starting to fall. So there's a slight bit of rain happening right now. This throws a wrench in everything. Obviously, Max, with this 5-second penalty, that is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. I need the rain to stop immediately, and he's in a perfect position. But so is Dan. Dan is in a great spot as well. Obviously, he's being put pressure on by Alvarez. Alvarez in the McLaren right now, putting tremendous pressure on Dan. But in as it rains and as these guys are on slick tires, you know, that putting pressure is even more important. But you gotta stay in your lane. You can't put too much pressure, because then you might make a mistake. You might slip up. As we saw him just slide just a little bit. It's getting a tiny bit greasy out there, folks. Obviously nowhere near time enough for intermediate tires, but the traction that we once had is not there. It's slowly diminishing. And Simon had a look at Grid Jokes, and that was, you know, quite the look indeed. Obviously didn't go for it. Smartly didn't go for it. But Grid Jokes is going to maybe have a run on Eric McNerney. And we do see X-Max going to the pits, so they're going to the pits early, getting those intermediate tires on. And obviously he has to serve that 5-second, which is the most BS thing I've ever heard of in my life. Someone just hit their wing. So Max, I need you to put on a Max Masterclass. We're going to need it. Ball out, my friend. Freddie Rosell stayed out. Dan stayed out. And so we're going to see, where do these intermediate tires? Mateo is the leading intermediate runner. Grid Jokes behind him. And Eric McNerney put on another set of mediums. So did Alvarez. Interesting. Potato Skin out of the race. We lost 5 people. And there's a safety car. Oh my god. This is... This is something. This is so bizarre. I just... Dougie Falcons is back into P5, and he's probably going to pit. And Marino is right in front of him again, dude. This is amazing. And all those medium guys just got a pit in front of them for the guys that didn't do it. So Fred free, Dan free, Marino free. Marino may get overtaken by Dougie here because it could have been a double stack. I think maybe there was enough space. And Fred stays out. Dougie's going to come out into P9. So Dougie got kind of screwed. I know he's in P5. He goes from P5 to P9. Obviously stays ahead of Simon. And Dan is just in a great position. Nathan Doan as well. We've seen Nathan in great positions before. Can he capitalize? I sure hope so. Seems like this is going to be the battle between the two Wonder Boys. If Mateo is the current Robin, then Nathan is Nightwing. And they're fighting for that who is the best Wonder Boy position. That's just, I don't know. Safety car talk, man. Gets to your head, especially for the fourth one. But Fred had a pretty good safety car restart last time, as did Dan. Obviously, Marino, the big culprit of last time's safety car catastrophe. There was slight reason for it, I suppose. It did look bizarre. It caused quite a bit of chaos. I think Colin died from it. Rest in peace, Colin Edwards. But, you know, we got probably another lap of this. Eric McNerney, the artist formerly known as blah blah blah. He's out there. And Alvarez, again, you know, it's similar to Coda. Obviously in Coda it was just like a direct contact. Here he just got screwed by the pits, but he's in a great spot, and then due to, unforeseen circumstances, he just gets thrown to the back, even though he clearly has the pace to be at the front. It's quite frustrating to be in that McLaren seat, I imagine. So the artist formerly known as blah blah blah, Eric McNerney, flying through the lap right now. And he's made it to Alvarez, and Noax and Simon have just taken. I hope Simon just took that back, otherwise there's a 5-second penalty waiting. Safety car in this lap, the Danimal, Nathan Doan, Matteo, Marino, Gridjokes, Max, combined, Dougie, Simon, that's your top 10. It's really anyone's game here. Of course, Fred has shown he's had an unbelievable pace throughout it. Ethan Patel, P12, Adu, P13, P14 Alvarez, P15 Eric McNerney, and, of course, your boy, Noax, the safety car spawner, in P11. Noax is quite infamous. He is, Jesus Christ, he's holding that grid up. If they were to go right now, okay, he's caught up a little bit, and he goes again. Nathan catches Dan, though. Is he gonna get him? He's gotta play it right, because this could be dangerous. Fred obviously just flying, but Nathan's gonna have Dan. He's gonna try to go on the outside here. Does he? Oh my God! They're gonna go 3 wide. Matteo sneaks on the inside here, and there's like 3-way contact. Oh my God! It's bumper cars out here. Nathan gets ahead of him. Dan P3, Matteo box in the back right there. Everyone's up top. Combine goes down. Dougie Falcons goes down. Dougie Falcons with a stinker of a race there. They're fighting there all over the place. Marino down to the P7. Gridjokes overtakes him right there through sector 1. And Freddie Rizal already pulled a 1.5-second gap. Matteo is on the rear of Dan. He's breathing down his neck as we go through sector 2. Hard to get on the throttle. The rain keeps falling. It's only going to get wetter. It's only going to get harder to get. And was that is Max just like diving through right there. They're going to have contact. Matteo just barely keeps it. And Max with an absolute ballsy move. Ballsy move. He's fighting that for that podium position. He smells blood in the water. He knows Dan ain't like that. He knows Nathan ain't like that. I think they're like that. Max certainly doesn't think so. They are food to him right now. Max is breathing down their neck. He's going to try to come get him. He's got 80% battery. Dan has 95%. He's going to have to burn some of this if he wants to keep Max away, because Max has a slipstream. He has the ERS. He's going on the inside. Is he going to try to outbrake him? Dan's going to go on the outside. Max stays on the inside. Dan's going to have to take the long way around. Max, they're side by side still through here. There's a little bit of contact there. Max stays ahead, or gets ahead, really. So there's a podium position in his home GP. Now a 1.5 seconds away from Nathan Doan in that P2 position. Alvarez in the back fighting with combined YouTuber. We're back to Dan and Matteo. Matteo side by side with Dan. They're getting through this dangerous turn, and they bump, and that allows Gridjokes to get through both of them. And once again, Matteo and Dan just cuts through. What the hell just happened? I'm at a loss for words. Dan in a phenomenal spot. I don't even know what happened. Matteo obviously put him in that position. It's just, yeah, seriously, that guy is a terrorist. This guy right here. This guy is a terrorist. And Simon made it all the way up to P6. Ethan Patel as well has cut through. Ethan Patel started the restart at like P15. And so this is just sickening. Simon trying to get Matteo. Ethan trying to get Simon. Dan trying to get back to his positions. But Max is now within, it was a 1.5 seconds. It now is 6/10 with 3 laps to go. Can he get that P2 position? I think, barring penalty, that P1 position is just out of reach, but it could happen as Adu and Dan are fighting. Dan's been fighting with everyone so far this race, and there's another yellow in Sector 3. That is Alvarez. He's retiring. Oh no, Dan's getting flashbacks. Don't go wide here again. Don't go wide here again. He's going to go wide here again. And Dan's like, I'm done. I'm backing out of this one. And there's no way you can do that shit to me twice. X-Max now within 3/10 of Nathan. Nathan getting a little worried. X-Max trying to force a mistake out of him. So we'll see what he can do. Max Home GP coming through this section right here of Sector 3. The crowd goes wild. Rah! Go Max, go! Go Max, go! You can hear their screams through his helmet cam. He's coming to the line. There's going to be, I think, 3 laps left now as we cross the line. And he's going to need to burn a little bit more battery if he gets Nathan Doan. He has the run. I think he could have maybe squeezed a little bit more pace out of that last turn, but he's really mostly on the limit. And the crowd goes wild through that. Then the crowd goes wild again. Trying to force a mistake out of Nathan Doan here, X-Max. Oh, is Nathan going to make a hard decision? Go for an overtake here. You give it to me, I'll take it. Wisely backs out. That could have ended in a disaster for both of them. Is he going to go for it here? No, just try to make him mess up a little bit. Oh, gets a little squirrely right there, Max. And we are in a dangerous part of the track, as I keep saying. Can't get too hard on the throttle right there. It depends on your steering angle as well. And Nathan is just driving scared, to be honest. And Max is driving confident. He's early on the throttle. He's late on the brakes. He's really trying to get him. And with 3 laps, almost 2 laps left, time is running out. And as Max attempts to make an overtake on Nathan, is he going to have the ERS? It's certainly is looking at a lunge. He goes for an absolute lunge. A lunge and a half. And they're side by side. Nathan stays ahead. He's going to have a little bit more traction on the exit and try to force him into a mistake going into this bank turn. Max doesn't have the position to go on the outside, but he's going to be breathing down his neck once more. Both Mercedes are in prime positions to make overtakes. Max is so much faster than Nathan throughout this sector of the track. It's not a great sector to overtake in. He's getting held up. Simon as well is breathing down the neck of Mateo. And Max just keeps looking at it. Bide your time. Grid jokes with a penalty right there. And this was his problem last week. He could have overtaken. I can't remember who it was. It may have been Grid Joke. He was supposed to overtake him 10 laps earlier. He might be a little too conservative. Obviously, we just saw him go for a lunge there, so he's breaking out of his shell a little bit. He's going for these overtakes. We need that. There's only 2 laps remaining. We're about to start the final lap. Freddie Rozelle on this final bank turn. We're about to start the final lap. And you need to burn it all. Nathan has way more ERS, though. Way more. He's going for another lunge. Going for a huge lunge. And they're going around. Nathan on the outside. Max on the inside. Max is going to stay on the inside. He's going to go for it. They bump wheels. There's contact through both. Max has to go on the outside. Nathan's still on the inside. They go around and around and around. More contact. They're touching and bumping and rubbing, is racing, and Max is still slightly ahead. The nose barely. And he's going to try to squeeze ahead. Nathan squeezes right in behind him. Max gets the position on track. Nathan now trying to make him push into a mistake, just as Max was trying to make him do earlier. Obviously, we know Nathan has quite the ERS advantage, but will he be able to take advantage of it? I don't think so. This is a part of the track where Max is comfortable, and we're a part of the track where Nathan is clearly not. The final ERS zone. Max is burning the ERS. And Nathan now 5/10. I just don't think he's going to be able to do it. It's going to be so difficult to do. And there's chaos behind him. But we're about to see Freddie Rozelle cross the line as another race winner. And we're going to hop on board as Freddie Rozelle wins the race. Nathan Doan not able to get it. Mateo going to be, as Grid Jokes cross the line to get P4. Mateo's going to get P4. Simon P6. Ethan Patel P7. Dan, who was at one point in a phenomenal position. P9, Nowax, P10, great race from him, even though it was mainly robot. Marino, P11, Eric Nerney, the artist formerly known as blah blah blah, P12, combined YouTuber, P13, and Dougie Falcons, nowhere to be seen, P14. Holy. Yeah, a race to forget for Dougie, Alvarez, Potato Skin, Colin Edwards, Jack Fletcher, Sid, who didn't even get to race, disqualified at the start. I don't even know. But there are your race winners. So bizarre. And we finally see Peter Giordano in the chat. I honest to God thought you died. As Freddy Rizal. Rumor on the street is he looks exactly like this Freddy character. This is a face scan. Marino says I shouldn't have held up. Yeah, no shit, dude. Well, mate, that is unbelievable. I guess I'll get a little bit of action. How about that action, boss? About that action, boss. Yeah, mate. What an absolute dominant drive. Like, from quali all the way through. Freddie Rizal, how are you doing?
I'm feeling alright. 2 wins in a row. I think for someone that has not practiced for this race, really good job. I mean, I knew I enjoyed Netherlands, but I never knew I was that good in Netherlands. Really fun track. I got a bit annoyed with the safety car going in for no reason, being bug. So I had a feeling Dougie was going to win that, but then put my head down. Put my head down and focused up, came back, and the rain just came in time. So yeah, I'm happy with the result.
Yes.
It's sad to see Mercedes getting more points than us in D2, but it is what it is.
That's what I was going to ask. Your teammate Marino had a little bit of a controversial safety car restart that resulted in Dougie Falcons dying. I think Colin Edwards died, like actually died. He's seriously injured.
Was that Marino?
And yeah, Marino held him up at the safety car restart, and it's not really his fault. Like a lot of factors go into play there. Thoughts, opinions? You're gonna have to go into the paddock and take a look at the replay yourself.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I'm a team player, so I'm going to maximise anything for Red Bull or any team I'm with. But yeah, Marino did a good job, really unlucky. I think Dan took him out in the last part of the race, so we're going to ticket that. That's what I've heard. Really good job for Max, getting a podium in his race, home Grand Prix. And Nathan still stinks. Can't get a D2 win. So.
All right. Well, we're gonna talk to him next. Freddie Rizal, race winner. We'll talk to you later.
See you later.
Dragging in Nathan Doan, podium position in the Ferrari. Is this your first podium this year?
Yes, this season, first podium.
How does it feel? Finally get the monkey off your back. I feel like you've been obviously in Singapore. You're in a great position. You know, potentially a win at one point. Couldn't get it, but how does it feel to finally be back on those podium positions?
Well, glad to be talking to you, of course, Oji, my idol here. But yeah, I mean, podium always feels good, but with what happened in the race,
yeah, what the hell?
Man, I'm just happy to be done with it. You know, if I finished 7th, I'd still be as happy as I am right now. Because I don't know, with a platform this big and a game this large, we can't be having these many problems in this.
Yeah, that was pretty sickening. But back to your race. You know, towards the end there, obviously Max got the best of you on a late lunge, but he was putting a lot of pressure on you. Did you were you sweating a little bit? Were you pretty confident in your ability, especially in the wet, or were you nervous there at the end?
Well, I'm not too good in the wet, obviously, in qualifying. I had a bunch of spins in the wet, so I was just trying to keep it together while also trying to keep him behind. With his lunge at the end, I don't know. My boys are telling me to ticket it, but I don't really know because, I pushed him around too. Definitely put a lot of pressure on me at the end, so I'm just, happy for him. He deserves the podium after the whole race, as do I.
Well, I made a couple comments throughout the race that you certainly have the pace, but at least this season you've had some just I don't even know if they're mistakes or whatnot, but so I was a little bit nervous for you, but I mean you clutched up, you did everything you could, and you had a great race. So congratulations and celebrate the podium.
Yeah, thank you very much, man.
And moving on to P2, Mr. Home GP. I think they call him X Max, the Dutch Nightmare, I think is his nickname back home. He's here in the booth. P2 Max, what is going on?
Oh man, I did not expect that after last safety car. I actually got very much inconvenienced by both last safety cars. Both times I was able to overtake two people on the first straight. It was really difficult not to overtake them before that. I think I was running a very low down force setup, and after that I literally was just flying. It was kind of just those 2016 vibes for me where Lambiase told Max, they're like, okay, next up is this person. Carl was just like, okay, next up, Matteo. Next up, Nathan. Holy shit, that was nice. I really enjoyed that. I didn't like the bugs in the lobby though, but overall, I think we can be very happy with the result.
Yeah, no, it was a great race. It was awesome to watch y'all race, and throughout the race, obviously this is your home GP. I could hear it every once in a while. You would drive by. Did you hear the crowd yelling? I kept hearing rah rah.
I did hear it sometimes. Yeah. But no, yeah. I don't know what was wrong with the lobby actually. There was some weird bugs in there. It actually got Freddy at one point when he pitted and the safety car just went in out of
Yeah,
nowhere.
it was so weird.
But yeah, honestly, if I didn't had that 5 second penalty, so there was an Aston in front of me that spun in the grass, I got 5 seconds because he stayed in the back. I think like 3 or 4 people got that 5 seconds. If I didn't get that, I might have been P3 at the restart, and I might have taken it to Freddy. But congrats to him.
Yeah, that penalty is super unfortunate, but obviously you got the P2. You got it was a great race to watch from your end, obviously removing the bugs from the scenario. So a great race, and I was glad I got to watch your race. So once again, congratulations, and we'll talk to you later.
All right, thanks.
So that was Nathan Doan, X Max, and Freddie Rozelle. Not in that order. It was Freddie, X Max, Nathan Doan. And so yeah, that was D2. Obviously we did D3. If you want to go check that out, link will be in the description, I believe. Check out the D3 race. It wasn't as chaotic as this one, but it was entertaining nonetheless. So if you want to see some more natural racing, watch that one. But this was a phenomenal race, not ruined, but tainted by some unfortunate bugs. So hopefully D1 can have a combination of that great racing and the bug-free, lagless thing that we saw in D3. So D1 tomorrow, Sunday, like 8 o'clock Eastern Time? If you're not on Eastern Time, I don't care, dude. Get on Eastern Time. And we will talk to you next week, or tomorrow, sorry. Have a great night, and